We'll stand, say the pledge of allegiance, we'll get the meeting started. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, thank everybody for coming. Welcome. Start out with stand agenda. We'll do like C.
C
Mm-hmm.
from the consent agenda.
Okay, we got a motion second to remove item C from the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, so we'll move C.
On the substitute list that you were provided, the highlighted names are any new ones from the last time that you approved that list. We did not approve that list last month, and so it's been since the August meeting. So the highlighted are the new names on that list.
Okay.
This is something I'll bring to you monthly, any new substitutes that we want to start using.
Okay.
Move we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Thank you. Second. Mark and Jen. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Number 3, old business.
Okay, these two particular board policies we pulled out of the whole packet last month that the board adopted to move forward with the full service agreement plan. The GCBDA, which is the professional staff policy, is something that has been brought to my attention and kind of on my radar and in discussion at different levels since really pretty much July since I've been here. And so the reason both of these are put together is because the same issues were brought to our attention from MSBA's attorney when they reviewed this policy. If you remember, for those of you that were on the board 2 years ago, policy GCBDA paid people that were leaving the district by retiring from the district, paid them for every unused sick leave day at the substitute rate, which currently is $75. And so Dr. Stopser had brought a recommendation to you that beginning August of 2013 to encourage teachers that decided to leave the district to not use up their sick days and stay in class and come to work and teach, was to give them any unused days after August 2013 at the half of the substitute rate. And so that policy was adopted by the board at that time. One, that brought on a lot of confusion and interpretation as to what days would be pulled and what would be taken and what was left. But the biggest obstacle to that was when we had the policies reviewed, MSBA's attorney said, you've got part of your policy that gives retirement, people that retire from the district, you pay them for all of their days, and when you don't give that same benefit to everybody else, it is perceived to be can be perceived as a parting gift, a bonus, a retirement gift, however you want to word that. And the recommendation from the attorney was that needs to be consistent. Whatever you do for those that retire, you need to do the same thing for everybody that leaves. With that being said, that same recommendation was given to me for policy GDBDA, which is the support staff. And there was nothing in the support staff that gave them partial payment like the professional staff, because we don't generally get substitutes for them, and they're not the teacher of the classroom. But retirees did get all of their days paid at the base rate for secretaries, was what they're paid at. So I met with the Salary and Welfare Committee, and we talked about some things, and we looked at the policy that they had presented to me, and we discussed some different options. And one of the things that, as I looked at this, obviously was the financial ramifications for the district. And the other thing was I looked at the majority of the people that leave your district that aren't retiring do so within the first 5 years of being here. They come, they spend 2 or 3 years, and then get some experience and move on to another district. And so one of the things that I talked with the committee about was, what about putting in a stipulation that they have to be here 5 years before they qualify for this particular benefit? There wasn't opposition to that. And the other thing was that I didn't want somebody who broke a contract or left us after June 1st, which is what our personnel guide talks about when people have to pay the district back. I didn't feel like they should get that benefit either. And so the new language that, so let me back up. So what I submitted initially to the editor on these policies was to pay those employees leaving the district but not retiring $50 per day, and then the 5-year stipulation, as well as the breaking of the contract after June 1st stipulation in place. Again, the attorney commented back and said, you're giving retirees the sub rate, which is currently $75, and then you're only wanting to give those that leave the district 50. And when you distinguish between the two, it makes it look like you're giving retirees a gift, and you can't do that. You can't give bonuses. And so that recommendation that came back was that it needs to be consistent. Now, the last thing that I wanted to do with any of this was to change at all the benefit or how we paid those that retired. Those that retired have been here a long time. I think that that needed to stay put. So with that being said, I submitted back to the attorney that we keep that consistent. And so when you look at the policy and you look at that new language, it doesn't state retiree, it doesn't I can't think of the word I'm trying to, there's not a difference between what benefit you get, whether you're retiring or whether you leave the district. As long as you've been here for 5 years and you do so prior to that deadline, then you will be paid right now at the sub rate, and then support staff get paid at the base secretary salary. So yes, there's going to be some financial impact on the district. I think a couple positive things that this brings about is, one, it's going to be something that people that potentially have been here maybe 3-4 years they're going to consider twice about leaving, because they know if they stay a few more years and give us more years of their time, they're going to get this benefit. And it's also a positive thing that's in place that, there's been a lot of talk about culture and climate and staff morale and turnover, and this is one of those things that's a positive thing for our staff. And so I think in the end, based on a report that Dr. Ritas had ran for me, looking at last year, and if you take away retirees, which we already had done this for, and you take away those less than 5 years in the district, you're looking at probably about 15,000 to 20,000 from what last year was. And we know last year was a large year for people leaving. So the budget can certainly support this, and in the end, we use MSBA to keep our district in compliance, and when we have policies that the attorney says, I've got major concerns with this, I think we need to comply with that. So that's why the language is the way that it is in the policies that I presented to you. Any questions that I can answer for you, or something that I wasn't clear on? These will be the last two of the policies to be completed. completely updated and adopted, so we can finally get this up and going on our website and have everything accurate, because that's been a problem in the past.
Any questions?
If they're here, you can ask them.
AEA, everybody, all you guys okay with, like, wording?
Yes, we are supporting this.
I kind of got that from your report, but
Yeah.
just wanted to ask you. Okay.
I move that we take the administration's recommendation for the two policies and make them effective October 7th, 2015.
Got a motion?
Second.
Mark, second. Got a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bond projects?
Okay, when we met last month, just to kind of update, we've got about 56,000 and change left in the bond. We talked about replacing those 3 windows that didn't get replaced, and so just an update, Dan talked with the company that had done the rest of them. He got a bid back on that, $5,600 to replace 3 windows, which you just have to let prevailing wage. Which this is the same company that did all of them. I'm gonna ask him to look at try to get some other bids from some other companies, because I think that's absolutely outrageous for 3 windows, but, anyway, there's that one. I got bids back from, Debbie on the ovens that we talked about, and this is one that I didn't put on here, so I didn't know if I would get the bids back, but, we got 3 bids that, came in. And I've actually got copies of these that I can give you, ranging from 5,500 to $10,931. The one that's 5,500 was the Duke model, which Debbie has said that is not near the oven that the Vulcan is. And there's 2 bids for the Vulcan, which one is $63,7650. The other one is the second bid of $7,000. And then the last bid was for the Hobart, which she said is definitely the best oven, but it's also $10,931. And so after speaking with her, the 2 Vulcan bids were the same. One was from Fellers in Springfield, another one from Edward Don and Company, which is a company that Sodexo uses quite a bit. So my recommendation would be to approve the purchase of the Vulcan oven at $6,376.50 would be my recommendation based on Debbie's feedback. And again, that's not listed here in the agenda under the bond projects itemized, because I wasn't sure if we would get everything for you by the meeting, but we did. So that's when we kind of given the approval last month to do, and I just want to get the approval to actually purchase for that amount. Any questions for me on that, or for Debbie on the ovens?
Do we need another motion to purchase it, or didn't we do that last month?
Well, you gave the kind of the approval to move forward on that, but I would prefer that the board approve this bid. You're really approving the bid. You've given the verbal to approve the purchase itself, but to approve this particular bid. Yes, sir.
It says on the Vulcan, it says limited parts and labor warranty, that they're limited. Have you asked them about their warranty in comparison?
I've not. Debbie, do you have any information on the
I
warranty on
think
that?
that's how most of them are.
Well, the one on the back doesn't say it's limited. The
the back, the fellers,
Yes.
I will question them about it.
See, it's a standard warranty, parts, labor, and travel.
Okay.
And that's just the verbiage, the standard warranty is probably limited. But never hurts to ask.
I
So
will
it-
question them.
So these were two,
There's two of them.
which is this?
Just a different picture. I questioned that too, she said the same.
And this one's freight, freight's included? Let's see. It says otherwise noted.
This is the price for two ovens, correct?
Well, you know, I thought that, but then it doesn't say two on there. But I told them it was two double stacks.
On the bottom, it says for 2 ovens on the second page.
Okay.
And it's written there.
Approved.
Because I know Fellers did say they had the
I was
parts
just
to
saying,
stack
it
them,
says
so
for
that's
2 ovens.
included in that
Not the
price.
one we approved.
So the one on the Edward Don that we're looking at, where it says convection oven, gas, double stacked, that's what we're talking about. We're talking
Yes.
a double stacked oven.
I will make sure before I order anything.
Yeah. Double deck, standard deck.
See, on the Edward Don, it says
No.
1 year limited parts and labor also on their warranty.
Standard.
It says standard on the back.
Both Fellers and Edward Don have the same warranty. 1 year parts and labor warranty standard.
You say the one on the back is the same company, right?
Well,
This one, Edward Don and Company,
Edward Don is just 1 page,
Okay.
and then Fellers is 2.
So you say the one that's, they said is.
You said the back page says Edward Don.
They have, theirs is divided up differently than what you have in front of
Okay.
you. I provide them with the bids.
Fellers has the specs. Fellers is the only one that has specs on it.
This is what, she's referring to this page here, which you don't have. I gave you the page with the
So that's the Fellers warranty, and it also says limited on the warranty.
So which is the, who has the most knowledge about knowing about this?
About the bids,
No, about the product that we're buying, because,
Debbie would, I know nothing
I
about
mean,
ovens.
you said the best one is,
The best is Hobart, but it's the best price also. The ovens that are in all the other kitchens are Vulcan. Vulcan is a step down from Hobart.
It appears to me that they give us the picture of the single deck,
Yes,
and they're going to install a second deck below it
yes,
because
that's how it'll be.
the series
Right
on,
here will be 2 more doors.
yeah, the
What do you
series
say?
on the one that, from Edward Don, the serial numbers are 44 GD, and that's the double deck, that's the 2-4.
Yeah, here's the
The one that they're
picture.
saying is just a 4 GD, but they're going to attach a second one.
Yes. It'll look just like this little picture right here on the Edward Don.
So the Edward Don and the Fellers are identical. Same level. One's 6376, one's 7000. And the 6376 does include delivery.
And both of them say 1 year limited warranties, limited parts and warranty, standard, they just got it backwards.
yeah.
One says standard warranty and then.
It doesn't specify
Says sale price does not include tax or freight charge.
unless noted, but I don't see it noted. The 7,000 bid does include delivery.
It does include the freight. Yeah, it does. It says the quote is good for product, will include freight, taxes, and any vendor special charges.
And the
The
Edward Don is
quote?
not,
It does,
where does
yes.
it say that?
page 2, right above the,
No, wait, that's on the Hobart, no.
Mine says.
I would have to question them about that also, because it's on the Hobart bid.
If it doesn't, I'd rather buy from Fellers, because they're in Springfield, aren't they?
Okay, yes.
I mean, they're gonna get, that's why they can deliver it probably cheaper. Coming from Illinois, it's probably gonna be,
So for the 7,000, we get
To know what kind of service.
They're both, they're all
We
done.
have, all of our kitchens have that. So,
It's a good
That's
idea.
Is it good?
yeah, yeah, I mean, there's not an issue with it. To me, though, there's too, we don't know what freight's gonna cost, and if freight's gonna be more than $600, then, or if you wanna spend a couple $100 more and go local with Springfield, I mean, I don't know if that's, you can actually do that and consider that the best bid, because you got an obligation to the board policy, but we don't know what freight's gonna be, since it specifically states that there isn't freight.
I do know that if you call them, they'll come out and they'll look at it and drive from Springfield here. And if you call Don Edward or Edward Don from Woodridge, Illinois, you've got a less chance that they're gonna send somebody timely to get our stuff.
I just want a product that it works and that we can get somebody to service it
Right.
without.
Well, if we did,
Or
we
it's
just
not
do
good
that.
for anything if you have to wait 2 days to get, you know, the kitchen to get late.
No.
To me, there's too many unanswered
Would you
questions.
rather get it answered?
Let's bring this back next meeting.
Yeah, why don't we table this, and we'll bring it back, get some bids, and lock them down to what it does include and does not, and we'll revisit it.
Great idea.
Sound like a plan? Okay.
Okay, one of the items that Mrs. Nash has been working on for quite a while and has spoken with multiple companies, our cameras on our buses are a mishmash mess and have created probably as many issues and problems as they have to help solve because they're not reliable, they're not clear. And so back at the beginning of school, when she brought the concern to me, I said, let's start getting some bids and find out what we're dealing with. So I've provided for you in the packet a comparison of 3 different companies, the Provision, Gatekeeper, and 24/7 Zeus. And you can see the different aspects of each one, the cost, the warranties, and some of the functionality, and she's also provided for you the benefits and the drawbacks. Since we got this in, there have been some discussion with some of the companies as far as, we forgot to add installation cost, and we can do this, we can do that. And so when I talked with Mrs. Nash some more about this, and I said, all right, let's go back to the beginning and let's look at each of these individual ones, because it sounds like they're all great products. She referenced the analogy of Target, JCPenney, and Dillard's. So she must like to shop. I used the analogy of an LT and LTZ or Denali, and so that we were both on the same page. But basically, what she said when she backed up, she said when her and George sat through the Provision demo, they were both just amazed at the things it could do and how amazing it would be. Well, then all of a sudden, here shows up a nicer model with more bells and whistles, and then a nicer model with more bells and whistles, and obviously with all those things that you pay a price. And I said, let's look at functionality, let's look at clarity, let's look at what does it do for us, and what can we accomplish with it. And so, with those being said, we came to an agreement that the Provision does everything we need it to, and it is the best price of all of them. Now, total cost-wise, to outfit 18 of our buses is going to cost $31,482. And so, this is why I think it's, the cameras on the buses, the security, the safety of kids, there's so many things that it will help us out in getting kids back and forth, and the protection of drivers and so forth, that I think it fits right within the scheme and the plan of what the board initially sought out for with the bond that it did back in 14. So, so the recommendation for me on this would be to utilize bond money to purchase the ProVision cameras at the $1,749 per bus.
And they,
Questions for myself or Ms. Nash?
just, is the quality good?
Yes. All of the cameras are high definition.
Is that an install price?
Yes.
It is. That's a good deal. I think the last time we bought them, I think we installed some of them ourselves. Maybe George did. Kind of a mess.
And we've had to do quite a bit of work early on because we were constantly dealing with problems where we thought cameras worked on a bus and they didn't. We couldn't see the things we needed, or hard drives were pulled out of a camera because we had to view it and then a route was being ran and you didn't have a camera on the bus. And so this eliminates all of that. And it, like I said, it provides the functionality and to outfit 18 buses for a little over $30,000 is a really reasonable price. 3 cameras. You get a wide angle camera up front that gets the stairwell, the door, the driver in the first couple rows, and then you get a camera to the front that gets your front half of the bus and one in the back that gets the back half. So
Is it, and it's all wireless, does it, like if there is a problem, I mean, is it
Real time.
real time, does it go back to to the barn where it can be seen on?
oh yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
answer to that is yes. Real time, the answer is no. The price becomes even more substantially higher if we wanted to do like live GPS or real time viewing, like sitting at my desk and watching the bus go along. Not even necessary because I'm not even at my desk to
Right.
do that. And you would have to pay for like a data plan in order to do something like that. The video will come in wirelessly to George at the bus barn because each bus is actually equipped with their own kind of wireless access point. And there's a couple of ways we can get video. If there's a fight at Pate, which happens because they're sitting around waiting for transfer, I can actually get on the bus with my cell phone and dial in to that bus access point and see 5 minutes ago the fight and be like, look guys, I got it right here. Or George can be at his desk and I can call George or email him and say, I need video from yesterday at 4 o'clock. He can pull that and then share it with me or Mr. Mays or anyone in the district that needs to see that video. It will prevent us from having to meet over at the bus barn in the middle of our day to go watch the video. The only difference between, not the only difference, but one difference between what we have in our current system and what the new technology brings is right now they're on hard drive systems, so there's a lot of moving parts. And so anytime a bus goes over a big bump or something rattles the bus, that video stops. And it seems like so many times I go over to watch it, oh, it stopped. Or it stops 50 times between the morning route and the afternoon route. Now it's on an SD card. And so there's not moving parts in the drive, it just saves to an SD card. So, and then the SD card rewrites over and over again. ProVision actually offers a lifetime warranty on those SD cards. So it's kind of a difference between better technology, the ability to get video quickly, more reliable, and more efficiently. And then also it's just, ProVision claims to have the best, newest technology on the market. And they do have a really good price, and I checked on references, and a lot of superintendents or transportation directors that I had talked to had just started getting the equipment in this summer, beginning of the school year. So they all had really great things to say about the installation, about the process, and didn't have any trouble with that. So like Dr. Shaw said, this was the first people that we talked to, and George and I were like, sign us up. I mean, because we're going to get 3 cameras, but we can do things like track the speed of the bus at any time. We can get an alert that will tell us every time the stop arm is open. We can get an alert every time the brakes are pushed in an emergency. I mean, there are so many things that we can do with this. In addition, we have the ability to add 5 more cameras. So we got a price for 3 cameras, but we can also add a camera to our stop arm so that when it goes out, if someone runs it, it snaps a picture of that. We have the ability to add a camera out the front window, which provides safety with accidents and whatnot. So what we're looking at gives us the ability to grow to lots more. So and it was the best priced.
Two questions.
You said, the video is just stored on the SD cards?
Yes, sir.
How often do those,
Great question. About 10 days of video is what he thought we could keep. And the other companies that cost more, they say, oh, this is awesome because you can save 40 days. Okay, when I step back and look at that, I'm only dealing usually with the situation that happened yesterday or maybe Thursday. So I don't see the need any more than 10 days of memory because I'm usually alerted of a situation like that.
And anything that was needed to view, we're pulling that off and it's become a file. So now we have a permanent hard file of it that we don't need. It's not, we don't need it off of the SD again.
what about, my other question was, what about the visibility at night for like night bus trips?
Provision is actually the only company that offered, and you'll see it on the bid, a night vision dome camera. So he actually showed us video from nighttime, and it was amazing, which was also helpful because sometimes early in the morning when that sunlight comes in those buses, I've tried to watch video and the sun is coming in so bright I can't even see the kids' faces. Where this technology prevents that. I mean, it really helps that out.
But that's an ad, that's not on, is that
That is
an ad
included.
or is that in this bid?
He included it. And the thing is, every one of their cameras, the one thing I liked about Provision when I stepped back and looked at it was that it was kind of like Target. Like it's just, here's your price. It's $280 for any camera that you want inside the bus. It's $365 for any camera that you want outside the bus. Instead of all of this, well, we can add, all these bells and whistles, and all of a sudden it got overwhelming. And that's kind of why I said to Dr. Shaw, when you really think about it, Provision was just packaged nicely. It was very clear. There was no questions about the bid. There was no, it just kind of, it was laid out nicely. But that's a great question about the night vision, and I saw video of that. In fact, you can, if you want later, go to provision.com and you'll see some sample of video, and you'll see a sample of the software that would come with that. He also said anytime they do upgrades to the software, we get that for free. So they would alert us to upload that to our system.
And they're gonna come and install, how long do you think it would take for them to install?
He acted like they could do it in a couple of days. They like to have access like over the weekend, but they can also, so that the buses are parked here. Another thing Dr. King just reminded me too, another thing that we'll be able to have with new systems is the ability to blur faces for privacy. So if I have a video that I like to show a parent, then I can blur out the faces of all the kids that are not involved in that. And then something else, Dr. Reedus, you were asking about, the SD card we can download. It saves on the SD card, but then we can download it to save it. Yeah, sorry.
Any other questions?
Will we approve the bid from Provision? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
$17.49 per unit, and allocate the funds from the bond issue money.
Nay? All right, got a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
One last thing with bond projects, I was made aware of an issue that we're having with the intercom system at Robinson Intermediate. We've got several speakers that don't work properly, and the bells are not able to be changed down certain hallways. Obviously, this causes an issue anytime you need to change schedules from year to year, and then when you can't have, when some of your speakers and you don't get announcements and things in certain areas, you've got issues with safety and security. This was something that Mr. Bax had brought to Dr. Stopser's attention a year or so ago when approached about using bond money. The IT staff did get a couple bids. It was around that $10,000 mark, and obviously we're going to have to get new bids on it. But to me, again, when we're dealing with the technology, we're dealing with the safety, security. This would also give them either the computer touchscreen or iPad to be able to deal with these changes in their office. So at this point, what I'm asking is that if you feel that this is a worthy project for us to move forward and get updated bids to then bring back to the board, I would like to have Ben be able to move forward and start getting some updated bids with these companies. And then I can come back in November, hopefully, with a recommendation. If it's not something that you see fits into that bond issue category, then we'll look to see if there's other ways we can fund this project, because I think it's something that's needed.
Were those standalone units? I mean, they were, because the ones they have now are in the computers. Every time the computer reboots, they go away, or they have to reset them, or.
Right, no, that wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't have, my understanding is Mr. Mays has a computer in his office that basically controls.
The system that we have now runs both ends of our building, and it sits right on that desk area right behind the use it at. We haven't had as many problems recently because Ben put an extra fan. What was happening with the computer was getting too hot, and Ben put an extra fan or redid something with the fan motor inside the computer box. So we haven't had as many issues, but that still doesn't fix the need on Mr. Bax's end with the speakers not working down the hallway. That's something that really is not tied to our bell system as far as I know. I'm not a tech guy, but you know, the reliability has been better since that fan was
Quit
added.
overheating.
Yeah. But I believe that
Air down just a little bit.
Vantigue has that locked. Thermostat locked. I believe that $10,000 bid was for both sides of our building now. Replacing the entire bell system for both sides of the building. I believe so. I may be wrong on that, but when we talk about that, Mr. Bax and I were talking about sharing building budget money, but then Ben came up with the fix of the fan, so then we kind of pushed that to the side, but we were going to be out about $5,200 each, best of my memory,
So
to
it may
split
be
that.
less than 10,000.
Yeah, so it may be a little less than the 10,000 unless you go ahead and do both buildings. So I don't know what we'll do there.
I should see bids.
Right. I just didn't want Ben to move forward with doing the work to get bids on the project, to get current bids, if it wasn't something that we felt was a bond issue money project.
So you don't have the issue on your half of the building, or you have the same issue when it heats up?
When it heats
They all
up,
go
we have issues, we have the same issues. The nice thing that we have now, the one machine controls both ends of the building, so anytime we have a storm or intruder or anything like that, it covers 3/6. So since we share the same roof, that's something that we'll need to look into, in my opinion. That way, I'm not trying to track down Mr. Bax if I have an intruder situation in my end of the building, or vice versa. We can just, click that icon and then we're good. But we still have the same capabilities through the phone intercom. If we had to, we could make a verbal intercom call. This is an intruder alert. You need to log down and take cover. We could do that if we needed to, if we had to, but it wouldn't be through the official intercom system if we were split in two. That's the only thing right now that I can think of off the top of my head that would be, a little bit of concern. Fire alarm is a totally separate system now through the CENTOS monitoring program. So, it's a pull handle in any location in the building, and it hits the strobe fire alarm for all the building. But the storm and the intruder still come through that machine on my side of the building right now.
Steve, I think pursue, we have permission to pursue, bring it to us.
Safety,
Okay.
bond, money.
I'll get working on that and hopefully have something back for November, so.
Okay.
That's it on the
Old business.
old business.
Okay, new business.
We currently have, and I'm not sure when this was approved, and I'm not exactly sure even where it is in writing. But we currently have, I've been told that staff gets $10 per meal, up to 3 meals a day when they're away from District 4 professional development. As you know, it's next to impossible to eat anywhere other than fast food for less than $10. By the time you pay, if you stay down in a restaurant, even if you have a burger and fries and a drink and tax and tip, you're going to be more than that, which means that staff then pays out of their own pocket for that difference. So with P cards that we've got now, the way to accommodate that is a staff member would have to tell their server, I need to put $10 on this card and then I'll have to pay the rest of it. Very seldom do we actually go to something. Most conferences, you're not having 3 meals out of pocket. So my recommendation is to not change the total value for the day, but to change the wording of it so that that you have a $30 per day per diem rather than $10 per meal. And if the board approves that, what I would like to do is go ahead and add that and put it in the personnel guide under the travel reimbursement section along with mileage, so that we have it in our personnel guides and it's visible and easy for staff to find. So total amount per day doesn't change, but just the wording that it's $30 a day, not $10 per meal, would be my recommendation.
That makes sense. Steve makes that motion.
Second.
Okay, let's leave it there. Sorry, Jeremy. All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Yeah, we need to act on item C that we put on the consent agenda. Now, new business.
Move we approve Tracy Westfall's resignation.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Nope, nobody answered. All right. Yes, reports. AEA?
We don't have anything to add, but we would like to thank you for the change in the policy for the sick leave. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. We appreciate you guys, hard work. Sodexo, Debbie's,
Nothing there.
Lance, nothing to add. Building principal, Dr. King.
Nothing to add.
Anybody got any questions? Debbie Bowen, Mr. Mays?
No, sir.
Let's see, Mr. Bax is not here. Dr. Pope, he's not here. Is he?
Just last night.
Oh, yeah, he told me that. And Mr. Cole, probably out there. Mr. Rager?
Nothing.
Nothing. Ms. Nash?
Just a thank you for supporting the new equipment. I think it'll help us a lot.
Dr. Lake? Dr. Reedus?
Stay with what I got.
Back to you. Getting away. Board members? We just got back. You want to do that next month, Mark?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. If
We
we
do
want
that
to
better
share,
prepared?
if we want to share something we learned while we were at the MSD with the rest of the board, something we thought was significant.
A lot of times we do
Yeah,
that. We
you
bring
said
back.
what happened to the MSBA conference stays.
That's true. To a degree.
So next month, if anybody wants to bring back any literature classes or anything you learned, share with us.
One thing I would say while we're in board comments is, so often we hear a lot of the successes of sports teams, and that goes out on social media, and it's everywhere. We rarely hear about any type of academic success, or a math team, science club, anything like that. If we have some testing where we improve from one year to another a certain amount of points, or if math or science goes somewhere and does very well, that's something that I think it's important that we share that through our Twitter and Facebook and various things, because as quick as the ball game's over, you know what happened. And Aurora's gotten a little bit of a bad rap for having low test scores and not being focused on academics. And I don't believe that at all. I believe our teachers and principals are dedicated to academics. But one way to improve that perception would be when something good happens, that the principals of each building would share that.
And we used to have a portion of the board agenda that was designated for we wanted to highlight a success of a student or a class. I'd love to see that put back in place where every month we brought somebody in here to recognize them for a job well done.
Yeah, I was trying to find, because I know I read it real quick. I know we're about done. It was the comment from the Mount Vernon parent on the band. I thought that was awesome. And I don't know if everybody in here has heard about that or knows about it, but here it is. Hello, I'm a parent of 2 of the band members from Mount Vernon High School. Your band is incredible in more ways than one. Our small band has not received the awards and trophies that you have, but when you see a big band as yours lining up in front of the bleachers to watch our small band, and they cheered and yelled louder than our fans did, it really lifted their spirits a major amount. They work so hard and our school doesn't support them very well. Thank them for me, please. They are a very classy bunch. Good luck this year in competition. I thought that was pretty good, especially coming from Mount Vernon, you know,
Awesome.
but so we will all give our kudos to Mr. Thatch and everybody that works with the band. That's good to hear good news for a change instead of, like Jeremy said, you kind of hear a lot of the bad. But anyhow, that's my 2 cents. Anything else? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you. 7:51.